Hi, my name is Stephanie, and I want to introduce you to the mystery of Lyle and Louise. Our forensics kits revolve around a murder mystery that has not been solved. In our story, a bag of unidentified white powder has been found in a suspicious abandoned truck. In this clip, you will see how a forensic technician uses both presumptive and confirmatory tests to analyze unknown substances. When an unknown white powder is found at the scene of a crime, investigators send the substance to a drug lab to be tested. Before running a confirmatory test, forensic technicians must perform a presumptive test so that they have a general idea of the substance's identity. The technician needs to know how the unknown substance should be handled. Join Dr. Graham Rankin from the Marshall University Forensic Science Center as he explains the tests that are often done in drug testing and analysis.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Graham Rankin, a professor of forensic science here at Marshall University, and today we're going to be demonstrating presumptive tests and confirmatory tests for drug analysis. Helping me today is Kendall and Evan, and we will be dealing with some evidence collected from the Lyle and Louise murder case, and that were reported to us as possibly methamphetamine. Where is our sample? It is an off-white powder, and which is typical of actual street samples of methamphetamine. What is a presumptive test? A presumptive test is one that will help us to, is a quick, easy test that we use for classifying whether or not a compound or a sample may or may not be a controlled substance. We will be using what's a type of presumptive test called a spot test. Kendall and Evan will take a bit of this powder and apply one of several different chemical reagents to it. That will cause a color change if it is a member of a particular class of controlled substances. A positive test allows us to make a presumption that this may be a controlled substance such as methamphetamine. We will then do a confirmatory test using an instrument called a gas chromatograph mass spectrometer, which we can then confirm its identity as methamphetamine. To do a spot test, we need to do a positive control and a negative control at the same time with our unknown. Our positive controls are substances which we have bought from a chemical supply house, and they are certified to be that compound. We are going to be looking at three classes of compounds: an opiate such as oxycodone, two different members of the amphetamine class, amphetamine sulfate and methamphetamine, and another common abused drug, cocaine, hydrochloride. Those are our positive controls. For our negative control, we will use caffeine. We know that this will not react with any of our reagents. This allows us to be sure that our reagents are not contaminated, so that if we get a positive test with our negative control, we know that there's something wrong and we need to go back and correct it. The positive control allows us to know what the color is that it's going to form and that our reagents are working properly. The test we're going to do is called a Marquis test, which reacts with opiates and amphetamines. A Mandelin test, which reacts only with amphetamines. And the cobalt thiocyanate test, which reacts only with cocaine. Evan is taking a little of our standard, and he's going to place that in each of three wells in the spot plates, because we're going to do three tests. and we're going to show that how each of the standards is going to react, our negative control and our unknown. Notice that they're wearing gloves, lab coat, apron, and goggles. This is for safety purposes, not only to keep them from being exposed to the control substances, but also the reagents contain concentrated, couple of the reagents contains concentrated sulfuric acid. So we want to work safe whenever we do testing. We use just a small amount. These are very sensitive tests. We don't, and these are also considered qualitative tests. We use for a dentist what is there, not how much is there. So we don't need to weigh out exactly how much of the compound we are testing.
Next, we will see the results of a presumptive color test, which is performed on the unidentified substance.